It's Adrian, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you my mid-month check-in. For those of you who are new to my channels, I do mid-month check-ins almost every month. It's just a minute for me to check in with you to see how I'm doing reading, and otherwise there are 7 check-in points, so let's get started. First up is currently reading. I'm currently in the middle of 3 different books. I've got a bunch of buddy reads going on this month, plus there's Middle Grade March and March Mystery Madness going on, so I'm all over the place this month, but I have been reading a lot of books. But at the moment, I am in the middle of 3. First up is a buddy read that I'm doing with Julia. I'll leave a link to Julia's channel down below. You can go check it out. We are reading together Snow Like Ashes. This is the first book in the Snow Like Ashes trilogy written by Sarah Rush. This one is a YA fantasy series, and it's about the Kingdom of Winter. And the Kingdom of Winter is one of 4 seasonal kingdoms. In this land there are 4 season kingdoms and 4 rhythm kingdoms. It's a little complicated, but winter has been captured by the spring kingdom and everybody has been put into slave camps except for 8 remaining refugees. This first story follows a girl named Myra, and Myra is desperately in love with her best friend, who is the king of the Winter Kingdom. In order to be able to save the Winter Kingdom, they need to get a hold of Winter's conduit so that they can have magic again. This one is really good. I am very much enjoying it. It's definitely a YA book. It is a little bit tropey, but I do enjoy the politics, and it is such a quick read and so fascinating, I can't seem to put it down. So even though it's a little tropey, I'm still enjoying it, which is a good thing. I'm also in the middle of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and by in the middle I mean 80 pages in. I'm reading this one for Middle Grade March. I probably won't be able to finish this one this month, but I thought I'd get a start on it. I'd like to finish out the Harry Potter series this year because I've never actually finished the entire series. And lastly is one that I started with my husband and my kids today, and that's The Land of Stories, The Wishing Well. I'm doing this one also for Middle Grade March. Guys, I think I found a middle grade story that I actually really like. Everybody in my entire family, young and old, is completely sucked into this story. I don't really know a whole lot about what it's about. I kind of went into this one completely blind. I've heard really great things about this one. I'm only 43 pages in, but so far it's really great. Next check-in point is most recently purchased. I most recently purchased Stay With Me by this author's name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one because we all know how awful I am. The only thing that I really know about this one is that it's about a woman and a husband who decided that they wanted to have a monogamous marriage, but she finds out that she can't have any children, and so one day her in-laws and her husband show up with her husband's second wife, and so it talks about that and how they're dealing with that. Just knowing that alone, I was completely sucked in, and I really needed to have this book, so I'm very excited to be reading this one, hopefully in April, because it sounds fantastic. Third check-in point is most recently added to your TBR on Goodreads. That would be Legendary by Stephanie Garber. I added this one because of the most anticipated releases video that I did. I added all those obviously to my want to read list on Goodreads so I can keep track of what I actually want to read. Legendary is the second book to the Carvel duology. If you're interested in knowing more of my thoughts and feelings on Carvel itself, you can check out the discussions playlist. Check-in points number 4, something good that happened between your last check-in and now, and that would be that I got to say goodbye to my grandma. If you want to know more about that story, you can check out my video about where I've been for the month of February, because I kind of disappeared in February. But my grandma got really ill, and I was able to say goodbye to her as she passed. So kind of a sad thing, but also a happy thing, because I got to say my piece with my grandma, and I got to give her a kiss and say goodbye, and that meant really a lot to me. Number 5, something you were looking for between now and your next check-in, that would be my daughter's 9th birthday. Guys, can you believe I have a 9-year-old? I'm getting old. But she's turning 9 on the 31st of March, and we are very excited to celebrate that with her. Number 6 is YouTube shoutouts. I'm going to go with Cherrie Walker this time. If you guys have not seen Cherrie Walker, you need to go check her out. She actually just recently had a baby, so you should go check out her channel and wish her congratulations. I'll leave her channel also in the description box below, so you can go do that if you like. I started following Cherrie probably about a year ago. She is such a sweet person. I love watching her videos. She reads a whole bunch of things between middle grade to fantasy. It's just all wonderful, and she's such a pleasure to watch, and she's really beautiful. Check-in point number 7 is a quote that inspires you. This one comes from Talking as Fast as I Can from Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls, written by Lauren Graham. I've been doing a lot of audiobooks this month, and I've really been into memoirs that are written and read by the author, especially when they're actors, because they're just great narrators. I really love this book. I thought it would be more of like an informational Gilmore Girls kind of thing, and it was, but there were 2 chapters that really struck me and made me think. One of these chapters is the one that this quote comes from, and it talks about how our society is constantly looking down at their phones and how we just need to look up. So I'm going to read that little quote to you. Actually, it's not a little quote, it's quite long. You're gonna have to excuse me, there's gonna be a lot of cutting probably, because I have to read this from my bullet journal, and you know, I'm blind. Will you do me a favor, dears, and look up How else will you take in the majesty of those buildings that have stood there for hundreds of years? How else will you run into an acquaintance on the street who might turn into a friend or a lover, or even just might recommend a good restaurant that hasn't been complained about on that app yet? If you never look out of the window of the subway car, how else will you see the boats go by on the East River, or have an idea that only you can have? Just look up for no reason, just for a moment here or there, or maybe even an entire day once in a while. Let likes go unchecked and the quality of sleep go unnoticed. Que sera, sera, my dears. What will be, whether you're tracking it on your GPS or not. Look up. What you see might surprise you. This whole chapter really struck a chord with me because I'm a mom. I always am either on my phone or I have my nose in a book, and my kids go unnoticed a lot of times. Now they're old enough to entertain themselves, but less and less I'm taking the time to play games with them or read them a story or just spend time with them. So my challenge to you, because of this inspirational quote, is to look up every once in a while and to spend more time with your friends, more time with your family. Just stare out a window and be bored and just get lost in your own thoughts, because nowadays, we don't get lost in our own thoughts anymore. Not very often anyway. So that wraps it up for this mid-month check-in. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up and let me know down below what was a quote that inspired you this past month. And if you haven't already, I would absolutely love it if you subscribed. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye.